Today we have with us the CEO of Bluesign Technologies. Welcome to India, Daniel.
Thank you very much.
How has been your trip?
Fabulous.
Great. First thing first, I want to know your views on this event because this is perhaps the first time we are organizing
Yes.
in such scale.
Yeah.
So your views, please.
Okay. So, I'm coming to India for the last 30 years.
Right.
I've been in textile for more than 30 years. And I'm very happy to see that now we have such a big show here with such a lot of partners. And I guess I just went around this morning. I arrived last night very late. So I got up this morning very early to come and see. But I was really eager to know what's going on here. And to be very honest, I'm really impressed. And I've seen a lot of our partners, system partners of Bluesign already. I've seen a lot of chemical companies that are also exhibiting, and I think it's a very rounded exhibition. And for first time, I must say congratulations, well done. And I hope that my team here and that we're all going to do a good business. For us, of course, a business that has to do with sustainability and try to help the industry to reduce the impact that we have on the environment and on the planet.
We see the market in sustainability. When you talk about sustainability, the market has evolved in the last couple of years. So your take on that?
Yeah. Again, 30 years in textiles, and when I was in textiles in the early 2000s, we already had a traceability. We already had, some programs to reduce the impact. And I must say very honestly, I'm very disappointed because nothing has evolved over the last 20 years. There's a better mindset now of the people, right? There's a better recognition of sustainability. In 2017, when big American funds started talking about ESG, environmental social governance, it accelerated the whole sustainability effect, right? But at the end of the day, when I look at the industry, I don't see much progress. Yet. I don't see much progress at the moment. And the issue we have here is we have to accelerate because we don't have time anymore. And it's good that that the textile industry is waking up because we have this sustainable development goals by 2030, and the bad news is that we are going to miss these goals. Right? We know already, so we need to accelerate because if we don't accelerate now, we're not going to fail. So actors like Bluesign to help sustainability progress in the market is very important. And it's not only, I've seen sustainability talking, 20, 35 years ago about human rights. Then we were talking trade, aid, fair trade, etc. And now we come to an element that is important, which is, environment. Again, but environment was already there 20 years ago. It's important now. And what is important now is that there are three things that is important on this planet is CO2, because if we continue like that, we won't survive, right?
Correct.
Plastics, it's a huge impact on the environment. And then we have a big thing about, the whole pollution, the whole impact on waste. So if we can solve these three things, we have solved a big thing for humanity because we have to solve the human beings, not the planet. You wanted to say something?
Exactly.
I think for us it's most important that the mill starts capturing their impact data basically, and that is something where Bluesign really supports.
You said you are already in the industry for the last 30 years, right?
Say it again, sorry.
These got the highlights in hall number 3, first from Kingsall.
So in this evolving scenario, how you see Bluesign, playing its part within this space?
Yeah.
So you are here in the industry for the last 30 years.
Yeah.
You are not a newcomer in that sense.
So, you want to start or shall I?
You go.
Okay. So Bluesign is more than 20 years old now. And what is really important with Bluesign is that we are total sustainability solution provider. That means we help all our partners to reduce the impact on the planet and on the people, right? And this with a very important thing, which is chemistry first, but also impact on waste, CO2 emissions. So it's a whole fledged of services that we offer to help to reduce the impact. And what is important is we are not a certification company coming and say you are good or you're bad, right? We are a company that helps the partners, because we are partners, to reduce. So we have roadmaps. So every single 150 brands that are member of Bluesign, every mill has a roadmap to reduce. Right? With elements that we decide, we have a list of chemicals that are approved. We have a blue list of chemicals. We find alternatives to very impacting chemicals. We give these alternatives on a tool that we have, right, on a finder. And every manufacturer can go to this finder and find the right chemicals that has less impact, right? With that, they produce fabric. And this fabric, again, we have a guide, which is important, a guide, which is a platform where you can show the fabric that has less impact because you use less chemicals or less impactful chemicals. At the end, the brand that comes and say, okay, you, dear manufacturer, I'm going to buy your fabric, I'm going to make a product with you because you are totally clean, okay? And that's the whole chain. And now you can see you were asking before about what is the status of sustainability. Now legislation starts kicking in. And as I said, we are not going to reach the SDGs, right? 2030 you're going to miss badly, 2050 you're going to miss badly as well if you continue like that. But what is important is that by 2030, legislation will definitely kick in. And now it's kicking in. Look in Europe. We have the Green Claim Initiative. You cannot produce a garment anymore by saying it's sustainable when it's not substantiated, right? We have what we call the DPP coming up, the Digital Product Passport.
And therefore you need data and data verified.
And then you need data from your whole supply chain, the traceability, right? Where is it coming from? And then you have the performance of the garment. What is the CO2 emission? What is the waste generation? Repairability, durability, recyclability, all these elements that will help the customer to identify where the product is coming from and what is the performance of it. And for that, you need a partner like Bluesign, because Bluesign will help you with the collection of the data. We have services, data services, impact services, and system partnership. So we will help all our partners to gather the data. We will help them to certify them, and we will help them to promote them. And that's the point, you know, the digital passport, that's what we are able to offer today, is traceability, performance, all on the QR code.
As you would be knowing, after China, India has the whole value chain from yarn to garment.
Yeah.
So how important India for you as a market?
So for us, it's hugely important. And we believe very much into India, because I know that India is very dynamic, and India will do that transition to better textiles or better garments, right? And for us, India, especially in the cotton, but now also in sorry?
MMF.
Yeah, exactly, yeah.
Man-made fibers.
Exactly, man-made fibers, but also in all this polyester. And you know, these new fibers. I think India has a pivotal role to play, and all the brands are sourcing in India. So we are with the brands, with the manufacturers, and also with the chemical producers, and that's very unique. And you have a lot of chemical producers in India, and these chemical manufacturers, they also need to have better products, right? And that's where we start. We start with the better chemicals in the manufacturing and with the brands. And I hope one thing, to be very honest, and then I give the word. I hope one thing, that we will catch a few brands in India, because there's one thing you probably know better than I do, is that the Indian industry, the Indian brands are as strong as the international brands, right? And they're honestly a bit less exposed to NGOs, or less exposed to chemical hazards, etc. So what is important there, I hope, and that's one of the target of my trip here, is to have a possibility to have brands on board with Bluesign, because I think that Bluesign is the right product for India. Because chemical change management, because the easiest thing that we do is don't use bad chemicals that you don't have to test afterwards if these chemicals are in. You know, people today are a bit strange. They say, we put bad chemicals in and then we ask to test whether they are in or not. Do you understand?
Or if
I
they're
don't
being
understand
washed out.
it. Or they have been washed out. Yeah.
But also Bluesign is much more than also pure chemical management. It's really about like educating the mills and picking them up where they stand to work together on sustainability topics that are also beyond chemical change management. And that is really important when we look at the CO2 equivalent calculations. One part is chemistry, but the other part is like the setup of the mill, right? And this is where Bluesign offers like a sparring partner thing to really train the people within the mills. And I think this is something that, or I'm sure that this is the way to improve together and to lift basically the standard of the industry.
Dipanka, to your question, which is really crucial here, we have a contract with AMHSSC, which is a sector skill development, and we make training for them. So we want to reach all the major decision makers in the textile industry in India, together with AMHSSC, to help them to reduce the impact. So we have training modules, education module to the C-suite, right? Because sustainability starts on the top, it's not on the bottom. If you're CEO of a company, if you're CEO of a mill, if you're CEO of a brand, of a chemical, is not convinced about sustainability, nothing happens. So all these C-suite people need to be
Understand.
we need to push them and to give them the tools to make it right. And that's important. So that's the training we do. So you asking me whether it's important, I hope we will have a reaching out to, I don't know, 1,000 mills and companies you have in India.
So it's basically more, the focus should be more on collaboration. That's what the bottom line is, like, between the brands and the manufacturers and
Yeah.
players like Bluesign.
Yeah. So for instance, Bluesign is a big marketplace, right? We have chemical suppliers, we have manufacturers, and we have brands. And these three categories work together. So today we are able, I'll give you an example, we just launched the cleanest denim in the world. I guess Fibre2Fashion has communicated on it. So these are all partners of Bluesign. We put them together to create better products. Right? So that's the finality of the whole thing is to have better products for the consumer. Because at the end, the consumer, the impact, the influence of the consumer, and I could imagine that when you were asking before, sustainability, has it evolved? I could imagine that the consumer in India is more inclined to buy sustainable products. I'm still convinced that the change is not coming from the consumer, but it's coming from the industry.
It has to come from within the industry.
Yeah.
Because otherwise, if you're not changing your business to a sustainable one, you're not gonna be there in future. That's
Absolutely.
somehow the thing.
It was really wonderful talking to you, getting your views and thoughts on the very important issue of sustainability. And it was really a pleasure talking to both of you. Thank you so much, Katrina as well as Daniel.
Dipanka, thank you to you. It was an honor to be here. Thanks.
Thank you, Dipanka. Thank you.